So remember in the last video, I told you guys that in order to save this feud between Jay and Gunther, which has gotten really stale, they need to have Jimmy Uso get destroyed in the ring in front of everybody by the ring general himself. And WWE actually did that tonight on Raw, and I thought it was a dope moment. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I like the fact that Big Jimmy got destroyed in the ring, that he almost got murdered on live TV. This is not the Hunger Games. This is not a Netflix special. But what I'm saying is this. The fact that that event happened and what it does for the storyline between Gunther and Jay by breathing fresh air into this, I love this, bro. The fact that it adds another level of motivation for Jay Uso to beat Gunther, not only for that title, but to get revenge for his brother, I absolutely love it. And I think I know what they should do next going into and at WrestleMania 41. Now, before we get into that, guys, please do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Let's get into this. So before I tell you guys what I think they should do next, I just want to talk about what I love what I love about what WWE did so far with this feud. They realized that the fans were not interested in this feud anymore, that it was getting staler and staler. It was dying the closer we got to WrestleMania. You can tell it was because they had a situation where they added 8-Town Down Under and Alpha Academy into this, which turned into really nothing. That was filler episodes that got up to this point because you can tell they didn't know what to do leading into WrestleMania. And the worst thing they could do is knowing that this is a problem and to just continue to follow through with it like there's nothing they can do to change it. But what they did is make a detour and inserted Jimmy Uso into this storyline. And I love this. And I think that WWE has finally realized, or maybe they realized this for a while, but in this instance, they finally realized that the Usos are better together than they are apart. And I'm not just talking about as a tag team. They are one of the greatest tag teams of all time. But I'm talking about as far as telling a story. When these guys are on the same side, when they're telling the story of brotherly love, I feel like that's the most natural that they are. That's the most heartwarming that they are. I think they are one of the best at telling that type of storyline. The story of what one brother would sacrifice in order to protect the other. What one brother would do and to encourage the other one. Because I feel like that's exactly what they are, right? It feels just so natural. We saw an example of that. Remember when Jey Uso had the match against Roman Reigns, the I Quit match. And when Roman was trying to kill Jimmy, Jay had to sacrifice the match and say, I quit in order to save his brother. The story of what one brother would do for the next one. And we saw kind of an example of that tonight on Monday Night Raw. We saw when Gunther took heavy-duty zip ties from Menards for $25.99 for a pack of 25. He zip tied Jey Uso into the rope. And the man had to sit there and watch Gunther destroy his older brother right in front of his eyes. I mean, Jimmy Uso was leaking all over the ring, bro. It looked like he was wearing a cane mask at that point. Like he was even bleeding all over Gunther. It was on his neck and his shirt. Gunther looked like, he was off for 28 weeks later. Like it just was all over the place. And Jay couldn't do anything about it. There was even a point where you can see that Jay was desperately trying to reach out for his brother. And Gunther was like, here's your brother. Psych, you're not getting him. Here you go. Psych, like playing with the man's emotions, his mind, and his heart. It was just, kind of heart-wrenching to see that situation happen, right? Because Jay couldn't do anything about it. But I think they were smart about having this happen because, as I said before, now this is no longer about just winning the World Heavyweight Championship. This is now about revenge for what you did to my brother. So what they should do next, I think what they should do next is, at least in the next 2 promos, if Jey Uso get to do that before WrestleMania, he can't come out and yeet. And I know that sounds crazy. People, it's all over his merch. It's on his glasses, on his socks, it's on his toenail. I get all of that. But given the fact that his brother getting destroyed and put into the hospital is a serious moment, it will be really weird for him to come out and start yeeting with the crowd like nothing ever happened. That will be really weird. And I think by him not eating will continue to tell the story that's been going on, that he has been losing confidence in himself, especially since his older brother, the person who tried to motivate him, his beacon of hope when it comes to him being insecure, has gotten destroyed by the person he has to face in the future before his very eyes. It's almost like the story of Rocky with Rocky and Drago and Apollo Creed. It's almost the same story, right? He's like, the person that believed in me, the person with the most confidence couldn't beat Gunther. So what chance do I have to do it at this point in time? So that goes back to the whole not eating thing. I think that plays into his character. And I think the whole character development with that is very, very interesting in my personal opinion. And it gives Gunther an opportunity to poke and prod at that part of him, right? Even though Gunther went through that a little bit after losing to Cody, but he's going to try to, poke and prod at that situation. So the question would be, who should motivate Jey Uso to have more confidence in himself? It could be his brother from the hospital, but I don't think that should be the case. But I think it should actually be Sami Zayn when he returns, because they do have a close relationship. And Sami Zayn has beaten Gunther for the IC Championship. So someone who's been there and actually done it, to be that beacon of hope for Jey Uso, I think that would be amazing, especially since they have that close relationship, especially after they had that back and forth, that opposition against each other during the Bloodline storyline. I think Sami getting involved in that way will be so amazing to inspire and try to put some confidence in him, kind of like we did with Kevin Owens before Kevin went into his match at WrestleMania. I think that will be amazing in that situation. So as far as Jimmy Uso, I think what they should do with him is he should show up at WrestleMania. Now, before we get into that part, I think that match at WrestleMania needs to have a stipulation. It needs to be a no holds barred or like something like that, right? No, not unsanctioned match, something like that. Because for one, we don't have a match like that on the card yet. And for two, if we want to make this match as personal as possible, it got to be something like that. And to tell the storyline of brotherly love, as I said, Jey Uso at this point is like, you know what? I'm willing to sacrifice anything in this type of match in order to inflict as much pain as possible on Gunther to get revenge from my brother. I don't care what happens to me. I'm going to do as much as I can to tear this man's head off because of what he did. And I think that is going to be very, very interesting to see. I think that is going to be so good to watch. Now, as far as Jimmy Uso, I don't think he should be involved in this match at all, in the sense of he shouldn't come in there and super kick anybody or anything like that. But you can have him sitting at the front row to motivate his brother. With a neck brace and all these different things, he should be looking like he can't participate in any type of match. And you can see him by the barricade. Gunther is probably destroying Jey Uso, and Jimmy can be talking, just trying to motivate him like, hey, you got this or whatever. And then Gunther looks at him, pulls him over the barricade, and destroys him. And that can be another motivator for Jey Uso in that match to go over that hump and actually beat Gunther. Because the difference between this match and what happened at main event, like, the only thing that will make it different if it's a one-on-one is that Jey wins it, right? But now you got to have something there. You got to have something to tell us why Jey would beat Gunther in that moment, because he couldn't beat him clean at main event. There's other times that he's lost. So why would this time be the time that he actually beat him? That would be a great moment in order to motivate him to do X, Y, and Z, and to see his brother finally celebrate with him as he wins the World Heavyweight Championship will be a great sight to see for the fans. And I think they should absolutely go that right. So if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section what you think. What way would you go with this horror storyline? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace, have a great day.